Welcome to the first video of Make Sense. Before I begin blurting out financial jargon left, right, and center, I guess I owe it to you guys to give you some background as to who I am, where I come from, and what I do. So, my name is Rajat Verma, and I belong from India but came 3 years back to Canada to do my master's in architecture. Now, if I have nothing to do with finance or tech, then why is it that I want to talk about money and technology? I'm sure you'll all agree that these are common links that governs everyone's life, especially in the case of money. Irrespective of where we are and what we do, it is something that we're all concerned about and it's natural. It gets us a lifestyle, stuff we need and we wish for, pays for our bills and emergencies. But isn't it funny that majority of us grow through our teens hardly understanding the importance of managing it more than making it? No matter what job we do, the whole pressure of leaving behind our peers and making more money seems to be a fruitless pursuit of satisfaction, well, at least in my opinion. Few simple books on personal finance gave me enough realization that wealth building has less to do with where you work. Higher savings along with sound investing and management strategies can make us all achieve financial independence way early in our lives than we think otherwise. It's all about a mindset and a few healthy habits. Based on this notion, my intention is to make you feel happier with whatever you're doing, possibly give you a hope of an early retirement, help you start with something you always wanted to do, and create more meaningful connections with people around you. So that's the base of the channel. I can go on and about what I think in practice, but I would rather discuss all of that step by step and in more detail as you spend your time with me. We will take a stab at understanding the process of making healthier choices, basically to create wealth and security. Besides the tools that help us reach our financial goals, we will be occasionally talking about technology, which can potentially add quality and value to all our lives. So after this introduction, I feel there is no better way to start the channel by discussing the principles of personal finance. Well, who doesn't want to be a part of the latest crypto frenzy or get the best performing stocks at the lowest price, right? What can really serve you well in your journey into wealth creation is in fact getting the basics right, creating a safety net and getting all your expenses out of the way. But don't ignore that little bit of homework that you should do for it. It all starts with a paycheck. So you get a paycheck and what happens next, or what should happen next? So we come to the first point of personal finance, that's budgeting. Target the big things. List down the following. Think about the sequence of your list. Number 1, rent or mortgage. If you have a rental accommodation, it is a straightforward number and you may not need to add any other expense to it. But you may also want to list down your strata fee, which is also known as homeowners association fee, property tax, and similar mandatory expenses for the property if you have a condo or any other similar ownership model. Number 2, groceries and supplies. Try to be as thorough as possible. Add your stationeries, toiletries, and so on. Number 3, utility bills. Water, garbage, and electricity. Simple and straightforward. Number 4, service bills, internet and phone. Number 5, insurances, such as your vehicle insurance, tenant insurance, and so forth. Number 6, vehicle monthly payments and fuel. Straightforward. Number 7, subscriptions such as Netflix, Amazon Prime, Audible, Spotify, and so on. Number 8, food and drinks. Dinners with your friends, liquor that you bought for your home, or something you had at a pub. Add those daily dosages of coffee as well, and all the knickknacks that you land up buying from outside. Number 9, trips. This is extremely subjective and the frequency can vary tremendously from person to person. It's not a bad idea to have it in the list because you might want to know if you even kept a budget for this. You might just realize that you have been making these impromptu trips which are essentially draining your money from other areas of your budget. Basically, be more intentional about all your trips. Number 10, shopping. Everyone has a different idea of what pleases them in this segment. Nothing bad in buying stuff, especially if something has gotten old, needs a replacement, or you just love to have the latest trendy thing out there. All good. But just a small piece of advice. A minimalist outlook will go a long way to add value in more meaningful areas of your life. Number 11, miscellaneous. Feel free to add more categories to the list, however it may apply to you. Just remember, being comprehensive and exhaustive will paint an accurate picture of your cash flow. And that's the essence of this task. I intentionally laid it out in this sequence based on a priority that justifies my spending. It will vary person to person, but I'm sure that certain expenses will take precedence over the others, like rent and groceries. We all need shelter over our head and food to survive before we take that trip outside our country. Try to list your needs and wants in a similar way and calculate the average expense for the month. See if you are able to come out with a positive cash flow. If that's the case, awesome, you're on the right track. This will give you an objective idea where to start trimming those unwanted expenses. Just question yourself with each and every one of them, do I really need it? Or do I need that version of it? We all want the best, but maybe there is a time for the best to be enjoyed without killing ourselves every month to make ends meet. The smile on your face will be bigger with every dollar that you save. Principle number 2, savings. After all that you've earned and spent to sustain yourself, never underestimate those slimy unknown expenses that come out of nowhere. It can be a car part that got broken, a tap which started leaking, or even an injury that you got going down the stairs of your own home, and so on. There should be yearly targets for those unavoidable expenses like a car service, a routine dental checkup, and so on. You can further break it down into monthly and weekly costs based on your contingency plan. Savings are going to go a long way to make you feel secured before you even plan to step into investments, and that's another principle that we will soon touch. Principle number 3, taxes. Pay less taxes. It might seem counterintuitive with your goals to earn more money, especially through a job, but what I mean is to find ways to reduce it. It can be achieved by claiming deductions, credits, and expenses. Claiming amounts can come under various categories like family, education, disability, pension and saving plans, or even climate action incentives, including others. A tax expert can guide you with details of each one of them. There are a few ways you can choose to defer your taxes as well. First, the Canadian government provides a way to defer taxes by contributing to a registered retirement savings plan, popularly known as the RRSP. The annual contributions limit varies as per your personal income, which is kept at around 18% of your annual income. This is also a means for the government to promote savings for retirement. Secondly, pension plans with your employers do the same job as deferring taxes, with an added advantage of matching your contributions. Also, a tax-free savings account, aka TFSA, is a great means to avoid paying taxes on your gains in the future. Let's say if you select a high growth security that performs very well in the coming times, you will be liable to zero taxes, irrespective of how big it becomes. Principle number 4, insurance. Depending on your needs, you may be paying for an insurance as a renter, homeowner, or a vehicle owner. Personal care for dental, eyes, and similar checkups are not covered by the government. You may want to use these insurances wisely and spread them evenly across their time periods. It is imperative that we save ourselves and our families from the unknown. But are there things that we might rather replace than insure? Is every electronic device really worth insuring? It might be a good question to ask yourself if your monthly premiums scrape your pockets, then secure them in the longer run. Principle number 5, debt. It is important to distinguish bad debt from good. One should know that not all interests are set at the same number. Good debt can come with relatively low interest rates. For example, you can get a 3.06% mortgage interest for a time period of 30 years as per Canadian Mortgage and Housing Corporation as of this date, and 2%, which is a fixed rate on the prime rate for education as per the Canadian government website, again as per this date. Borrowing money on these fronts can lead to equity creation in terms of residential investments or ownership, or even help you have a higher paycheck down the road by pursuing education. We should ideally try to limit our liabilities in life and pay out any debt as soon as possible. Try to avoid those high interest debts for things that quickly lose value, and that's what I'll define as bad debts. Credit card debts are amongst the most painful of all, and at the same time, the easiest to avoid. Recreational and luxury items can temporarily be satisfying, but can quickly burn a hole in your long-term financial goals. If the credit card debts are paid in full and show around 30% of your limits use in your bill, you inch towards a better credit score. It simply highlights your ability to manage lenders' money, which can actually help you acquire good debt. Principle number 6, investments. Once you've created a monthly budget and kept aside a certain chunk of your short term needs, investing should be the way forward for the leftover amount. The idea of money making money is not intuitive. Take your time to build a thorough understanding of how do the available tools work. See, how can they increase in value? Help save taxes, as I mentioned earlier through our recipes and TFSA, counter inflation and balance market fluctuations over a period. For example, if you invested $10,000 in a fund and the fund earned 7% return for the year, you would have gained $700 and your investments would be worth $10,700. If you got an average 7% return in the following year as well, your investments would be worth $11,449. You just made $49 more compared to the first year. The key for this growth lies in compound interest. The interest added to the principal amount increases rapidly after a few years, which can greatly affect your returns on the investments. The easiest way to invest is to start early and commit to a long-term investing strategy. There are many ways to participate in the market, but venture carefully with due diligence and guidance. Principle number 7, health. One of the biggest expense you may have in your life, which is unrelated to your income, is your health. An injury can create a big financial burden and can make you inefficient and even unable to perform at work. This can have a negative ripple effect on the things that depend on your paycheck. This also emphasizes the importance of securing yourself with adequate insurances, which meets the need of routine and unknown visits to your doctor. A healthier lifestyle allows you to avoid the temptations of overindulging and splurging on food and drinks, especially when you haven't planned for it. Basically, you think twice about gaining more calories than you burned. Exercising can be mentally stimulating, it can stretch the strained parts of your body as well. You don't necessarily need to go to a gym and get a membership. You can just go out for a walk or a run, bike around the city, bike and go to your office, play a sport, or any other form of exercise. Whatever suits you is good, till the time you simply do something. These activities can also give you some time to socialize, be it with your friends, neighbors, or family. Principle number 8, meals. Life skills are very crucial to this list of principles. Cooking your own food can be liberating and surprisingly satisfying. Any working individual will agree that inertia of spending a few hours to prepare those 5 to 6 meals for the week is ominous. The added expense of buying meals may seem justified to many, especially when you and your partner are out there making every hour count to make money. We should realize that the cumulative effect on your pocket and health is going to be alarming in the longer run. Principle number 9, reading. You can start redeeming the value of learning about finance in a matter of few reads. Even though the financial sector holds numerous topics, for the average person, the earlier stated principles are a great way to start. There are multiple platforms at disposal: ebooks, physical books, blogs, Audible, etc. Take my advice and try not to spend a single penny on the resources that you find. The content is fairly factual and straightforward. Of course, if you want to read a book written by a specific author, go ahead. They are probably famous because their content reasons well with a certain number of people. I would just say that in majority cases, personal experiences may vary, but the principles don't differ by much margin. I typically go to my local library, briefly brush through the content, and if it relates to what I want to read, I borrow it, and it's proven just fine in majority cases. Financial advisors and similar professionals are there for a reason. Your knowledge simply enables you to understand their advice better. And by the way, if you do enough research, there is no one stopping you to take the route of do-it-yourself investing and save the management fee of a portfolio manager. Principle number 10, experiences. Live with less. When you counter your buying habits with experiences, they generally leave a more lasting impression on your mind. Isn't that what we all want to do with the money we save? Go to places, meet more people, and take part in new activities? Upgrading to the latest hardware or adopting to a new fad or trend may take away those few $100 that you could have spent on a lovely weekend trip to a new city or the outdoors. The trade-off of delaying a purchase or completely skipping on it can easily provide for a decent travel plan. Trust me, Things don't have to be expensive to be fun. So that wraps up all our principles. And what are the takeaways in the end? Number one, target the big things first. Number two, plan your saving goals. Number three, avoid high interest debts. Number four, lower the taxable income. Number five, trim your insurances. Number six, invest into your future. Number seven, keep healthy. It saves money, body, and mind. Number eight, plan and make your meals. Number nine, keep educating yourself. Number 10, invest on experiences, not goods. So, this was the first episode. I hope you liked the content and I will meet you on the next one. Till then, I hope it all made sense. See you soon.